Elon Musk's journey began far from Silicon Valley's heart. He was born in Pretoria, South Africa, a place that shaped his early years with a complex mix of opportunity and adversity. Musk showed an early aptitude for computers and entrepreneurship. At the young age of 12, he coded and sold his own video game, Blaster, demonstrating a nascent drive that would later define his ambitious ventures. His childhood was not always easy, marked by challenges that perhaps fueled his relentless desire to build and control his own destiny. This early immersion in technology and business set the stage for a truly extraordinary career path, one that would see him tackle some of humanity's biggest challenges. Driven by a vision of greater opportunities, Musk left South Africa for Canada, and then the United States. He attended Queen's University in Ontario before transferring to the University of Pennsylvania. There he earned degrees in physics and economics, a combination that hinted at his future interests in both deep technology and large-scale business operations. Instead of pursuing a PhD at Stanford, he famously dropped out after just 2 days. The internet boom was calling, and Musk was eager to answer. He saw the transformative potential of this new digital frontier and was determined to make his mark, a decision that would rapidly accelerate his entrepreneurial trajectory. In 1995, alongside his brother Kimball, Musk co-founded Zip2. This venture provided online city guides and directories to newspapers. It was a gritty, bootstrapped effort with the brothers working tirelessly and living in their small office. Zip2 represented Musk's first taste of building a company from the ground up, navigating the complexities of software development, sales, and scaling a business. The company eventually secured contracts with major publications like the New York Times and the Chicago Tribune. This early success, though modest by his later standards, was a crucial learning experience, honing his skills and reinforcing his belief in the power of technology to solve real-world problems and create value. The sale of Zip2 to Compaq for over $300 million in 1999 provided Musk with significant capital. He quickly reinvested a substantial portion of this into his next venture, X.com. This online financial services company aimed to revolutionize banking. X.com later merged with Confinity, a company that had developed a payment system called PayPal. Musk became a key figure in PayPal's development, pushing for innovation and growth. Despite internal disagreements that eventually led to his ousting as CEO, PayPal became a monumental success. When eBay acquired PayPal in 2002 for $1.5 billion, Musk, as the largest shareholder, walked away with a fortune that would empower him to pursue even grander, more audacious dreams. With the capital secured from the PayPal sale, Elon Musk turned his gaze towards an industry few entrepreneurs dared to enter: aerospace. In 2002, he founded Space Exploration Technologies Corp., more commonly known as SpaceX. His stated goal was audacious, almost fantastical, to reduce the cost of space transportation drastically and ultimately enable the colonization of Mars. Many in the established aerospace industry were deeply skeptical. They viewed him as an outsider with unrealistic ambitions, underestimating his engineering acumen and his relentless drive. Musk, however, was undeterred, believing that humanity's future depended on becoming a multi-planetary species. He poured his own fortune into the company, driven by this long-term vision. The early years of SpaceX were fraught with immense challenges and near failures. Developing rockets from scratch is an incredibly complex and expensive undertaking. The first 3 launches of their Falcon 1 rocket all ended in failure, pushing the company to the brink of financial collapse. Each failure was a public spectacle and a severe test of Musk's resolve and the morale of his dedicated team. He famously stated that if the 4th launch failed, SpaceX would be finished. This period was characterized by immense pressure, long working hours, and an unwavering commitment to learning from each setback. The company's survival hung precariously in the balance during these critical early attempts. The turning point came in September 2008, with the successful 4th launch of the Falcon 1. This historic achievement made SpaceX the first privately funded company to put a liquid-fueled rocket into orbit. It was a monumental victory that validated Musk's vision and engineering approach. More importantly, it unlocked crucial funding, including a significant contract from NASA to resupply the International Space Station, ISS. This NASA partnership provided not only financial stability, but also a crucial vote of confidence in SpaceX's capabilities. The company then shifted its focus to developing the more powerful Falcon 9 rocket and the Dragon spacecraft. aiming for even greater milestones in space exploration. Since that pivotal success, SpaceX has revolutionized the space industry. It achieved the first private spacecraft docking with the ISS and pioneered the recovery and reuse of orbital-class rocket boosters, dramatically lowering launch costs. This reusability was a game-changer, something many had deemed impossible or economically unviable. SpaceX now dominates the commercial launch market, launching satellites for governments and private companies worldwide. Its Starlink satellite internet constellation is another ambitious project, aiming to provide high-speed internet access globally. All these achievements are stepping stones towards Musk's ultimate goal, making human life multi-planetary, with Mars as the prime destination. Parallel to his celestial ambitions with SpaceX, Elon Musk was also determined to revolutionize terrestrial transportation. In 2004, he became involved with Tesla Motors, now Tesla Inc., investing significantly and taking on the role of chairman. While he wasn't a founder in the strictest sense, his capital, vision, and leadership quickly became central to the company's trajectory. Tesla's mission was bold: to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy, starting with high-performance electric cars that people would actually desire. The initial offering, the Tesla Roadster, launched in 2008, demonstrated that electric vehicles could be exciting and viable, challenging the perception of EVs as slow, impractical golf carts. The journey for Tesla was, much like SpaceX, filled with daunting obstacles and periods of intense financial strain, often referred to as production hell. Developing the Model S, Tesla's first mass-market sedan, involved overcoming significant engineering, manufacturing, and supply chain hurdles. Musk famously took a hands-on approach, often sleeping on the factory floor to oversee production and troubleshoot issues directly. The company faced skepticism from established automakers, short sellers betting against its stock, and numerous production delays. Public scrutiny was intense, and every setback was magnified. Yet Musk's unwavering belief in the mission, coupled with a passionate workforce, pushed the company forward. The launch of the Model S in 2012 was a watershed moment for Tesla and the electric vehicle industry. It received widespread critical acclaim for its performance, range, safety, and cutting-edge technology, including its large touchscreen interface and over-the-air software updates. It proved that an electric car could be superior to its gasoline-powered counterparts in many respects. Following the Model S, Tesla expanded its lineup with the Model X SUV, the more affordable Model 3 sedan, and the Model Y crossover. The company also invested heavily in building out its proprietary supercharger network, addressing range anxiety and making long-distance electric travel practical for its customers. This integrated approach to vehicles and infrastructure was key to its success. Tesla's impact extends far beyond just selling cars. It has forced the entire automotive industry to accelerate its own electric vehicle programs. The company has also become a leader in battery technology and energy storage solutions with products like Powerwall and PowerPack. Despite ongoing challenges, including competition, regulatory scrutiny, and Musk's own often controversial public statements, Tesla has grown into one of the world's most valuable companies. Its gigafactories, massive manufacturing plants, are symbols of its ambition to scale production and drive down the cost of electric vehicles and batteries, furthering the mission of a sustainable energy future for all. For many years, Elon Musk's political engagement was relatively conventional for a CEO of major industrial and tech companies, involving lobbying and donations to both major parties. However, the landscape began to shift dramatically in the lead-up to the 2024 U.S. presidential election. Musk's public pronouncements, particularly on X, formerly Twitter, became increasingly political and often aligned with right-leaning viewpoints. This culminated in his overt and substantial financial backing for Donald Trump's 2024 campaign. This move marked a significant departure from his previous, more bipartisan approach, signaling a new phase in his public life where his political influence would become as prominent as his technological endeavors. Musk's support for the Trump campaign was not merely rhetorical, it was backed by immense financial firepower. Reports indicate he spent at least $250 million, making him the largest single donor to the campaign. This funding was channeled through entities like the America PAC, which played a crucial role in advertising and organizing canvassing groups in 7 key competitive states. Beyond financial contributions, Musk also actively campaigned alongside Trump, headlining his own rallies on behalf of the Republican nominee. This visible and direct involvement amplified his political voice, leveraging his celebrity status and vast social media following to rally support for Trump, a move that surprised many observers. The motivations behind Musk's intensified political activism appear multifaceted. His spending has notably focused on supporting candidates who align with his views on technology, space exploration, and, crucially, deregulation. Such policies could create a more favorable operating environment for his businesses, particularly SpaceX and Tesla, which often navigate complex regulatory frameworks. Critics, however, suggested that his actions were also driven by a desire to exert greater personal influence over the political discourse and policy direction of the country. His alignment with Trump was seen by some as a strategic move to ensure his companies remained in good standing with a potentially returning administration, especially given their reliance on government contracts and favorable regulations. This pivot into large-scale political donorship and activism placed Musk in a new category of influence, comparable in some ways to other billionaire donors who have historically shaped political landscapes. However, Musk's direct engagement and public campaigning set him apart from many who prefer to exert influence more discreetly. His actions underscored a growing trend of tech titans stepping more forcefully into the political arena, using their immense wealth and platforms to advocate for specific agendas. This transformation from tech innovator to political powerhouse was now undeniable, and it carried significant implications for both his businesses and the broader political environment as the 2024 election unfolded. Section 5. Wielding the Axe Musk at the helm of Doge. Following Donald Trump's victory in the 2024 presidential election, Elon Musk's political influence was further solidified with a significant appointment. He was chosen to lead the newly created Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. This department was established with a clear Trump-backed mandate to aggressively reduce federal spending, cut bureaucratic red tape, and streamline government operations. Musk, known for his disruptive approach to business and his vocal criticisms of inefficiency, seemed a natural if controversial fit for this role. His appointment signaled a clear intent from the new administration to pursue a radical overhaul of the federal government's structure and spending habits. Under Musk's leadership, DOGE quickly initiated sweeping and often contentious downsizing efforts. Tens of thousands of federal workers were reportedly fired as part of a broad effort to shrink the government workforce. The department also targeted specific agencies for closure or significant restructuring, including attempts to shut down entities like the U.S. Agency for International Development and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. These moves were framed as necessary measures to eliminate waste and improve efficiency, but they drew immediate and fierce opposition from affected employees, public sector unions, and Democratic lawmakers who warned of dire consequences for public services and regulatory oversight. Beyond personnel reductions, DOGE, with Musk at the forefront, moved to cancel tens of thousands of government contracts and grants. This was presented as a way to save taxpayer money and eliminate projects deemed unnecessary or poorly managed. While some of these cancellations were later reversed due to legal challenges and contractual obligations, the sheer volume of cuts sent shockwaves through various sectors reliant on government funding. DOGE, under Musk's direction, claimed these actions resulted in savings of approximately $170 billion. However, these figures were frequently disputed by independent analysts and government watchdogs, who questioned the methodology and the long-term impact of such drastic measures on government functionality. Musk's tenure at DOGE was characterized by the same aggressive, fast-paced style he employed at his companies. He brought a Silicon Valley mindset of rapid iteration and disruption to the normally staid world of government bureaucracy. While proponents lauded his efforts as a much-needed shakeup of an inefficient system, critics argued that his approach was often reckless, lacking in due process, and driven more by an ideological desire to shrink government than by a nuanced understanding of public administration. The department became a lightning rod for controversy, embodying the new administration's disruptive agenda and Musk's own polarizing public persona, even as he began to signal a desire to reduce his direct involvement. Section 6. Reshaping the Republican landscape, policy, power, and patronage. Elon Musk's substantial financial contributions and vocal support for Donald Trump and other Republican candidates have undeniably reshaped aspects of the Republican Party's landscape. His influence extends beyond simply funding campaigns. It has helped to bolster candidates who champion tech-friendly policies and advocate for significant deregulation. This alignment is particularly beneficial for Musk's own enterprises, such as SpaceX and Tesla, which operate in heavily regulated sectors. The influx of Musk's resources and his public endorsements have provided a significant boost to a wing of the party that prioritizes innovation, albeit often through a lens of minimal government intervention, which resonates with his libertarian-leaning views. The impact of Musk's involvement can be seen in the increasing prominence of certain policy discussions within the Republican Party. There is a growing emphasis on fostering domestic high-tech manufacturing, promoting space exploration as a national priority, and reducing environmental regulations perceived as burdensome to business. While these themes are not entirely new to the GOP, Musk's advocacy and financial muscle have lent them greater urgency and visibility. His narrative of the entrepreneur as a national hero, unencumbered by bureaucracy, has found a receptive audience within the party's base and among its elected officials, further cementing these policy leanings within the party platform. Musk's approach to political influence shares some similarities with Donald Trump's own methods. Both leverage their considerable wealth and public personas to shape political discourse and directly appeal to a broad audience, often bypassing traditional media channels. However, Musk's focus tends to be more targeted towards specific policy areas directly impacting his business interests and his vision for technological advancement. While Trump's influence is often broader and more ideologically driven across a range of populist issues, Musk's interventions are more akin to strategic investments aimed at creating a favorable ecosystem for his ventures, from autonomous driving regulations to space launch protocols. Despite his significant influence, Musk's political investments have not always yielded the desired results. A notable example was the Wisconsin Supreme Court campaign following the 2024 election. Musk-backed groups reportedly spent over $21 million, some sources say $13 million, supporting Republican candidate Brad Schimmel. However, Schimmel lost to the Democrat-backed candidate, Susan Crawford, by a significant 10 percentage points. This outcome served as a reminder that financial power alone does not guarantee electoral success, even for an influencer of Musk's stature. It also highlighted the complexities and potential limitations of attempting to directly translate business success into predictable political victories across all contexts. Section 7. Beyond Borders, Musk's forays into international politics. Elon Musk's political pronouncements and endorsements have not been confined to the United States. He has increasingly extended his commentary to international affairs, often generating considerable attention and controversy. His platform X serves as a primary conduit for these views, reaching a global audience directly. In December 2024, Musk expressed support for the right-wing Reform UK party. In a post on X, he claimed that only reform can save Britain, a bold statement that interjected him directly into the complex and often heated political discourse of the United Kingdom. This unsolicited endorsement was met with mixed reactions in Britain, praised by reform supporters and criticized by their opponents. A month later, in January 2025, Musk waded into German politics with similar directness. During an audio livestream on X, he endorsed Alice Weidel, a prominent leader of the far-right Alternative für Deutschland (AfD) party. Musk stated that he believed only the AfD could save Germany from its current trajectory. This endorsement was particularly contentious given the AfD's controversial positions and its ongoing scrutiny by German authorities. Musk's intervention was seen by many as an unwelcome intrusion into Germany's domestic political affairs and drew sharp criticism from mainstream German politicians and media outlets who questioned his understanding of the country's political sensitivities. These international endorsements reflect Musk's willingness to leverage his global platform to voice his opinions on a wide array of political situations, regardless of diplomatic norms or potential repercussions for his businesses operating in those countries. His motivations appear to stem from a conviction that his perspectives on governance, societal direction, and economic policy are universally applicable. He often frames his interventions as common-sense solutions to complex problems, a stance that resonates with his supporters but is is frequently viewed as simplistic or ill-informed by those with deeper knowledge of the specific national contexts he addresses. This approach can be seen as an extension of his disruptive business philosophy into the realm of global geopolitics. The impact of these international endorsements is debatable. While they generate significant media coverage and energize certain segments of the population in the target countries, it is unclear whether they translate into tangible shifts in political support or policy outcomes. For companies like Tesla and SpaceX, which have significant international operations and markets, such overtly political statements by their leader can create business risks. They can alienate potential customers, complicate relationships with foreign governments, and invite increased scrutiny. Musk, however, seems undeterred by these potential downsides, prioritizing his ability to speak freely and influence discourse on a global scale, regardless of the complexities involved. Section 8. The Price of Influence, Backlash, Protests, and Business Pressures. Elon Musk's increasingly prominent role in U.S. politics and his leadership at Doge have not come without significant costs. His outspoken support for Donald Trump and his aggressive measures to downsize government ignited a fierce public backlash. Protests became a common occurrence, not just at government buildings but also directly targeting his businesses. Tesla, in particular, became a focal point for discontent, with reports of vehicles being smashed or even set on fire during demonstrations. These acts of vandalism were symbolic of the anger and frustration felt by those who opposed Musk's political alignment, and his actions within the Trump administration, directly tying his corporate identity to his political one. The criticism extended far beyond street protests. Commentators, activists, and political opponents accused Musk of undermining democratic processes by leveraging his immense wealth to exert undue influence on government policy. They argued that his role in Doge prioritized corporate interests and a narrow ideological agenda over the public good and the stability of essential government services. The relentless attacks, as Musk himself acknowledged, took a toll. He admitted that the constant criticism and protests had a negative impact on his businesses, potentially affecting sales and brand perception. This highlighted the delicate balance leaders must strike when their personal political activities become intertwined with their corporate identities. The negative sentiment also manifested in consumer behavior and employee morale within his companies. Some Tesla owners expressed disillusionment with Musk's political trajectory, leading to discussions about selling their vehicles or boycotting the brand. Internally, while many employees remained loyal and focused on the technological missions of companies like SpaceX and Tesla, the politicization of their CEO undoubtedly created a more challenging environment. The public controversies surrounding Musk threatened to overshadow the innovative work of his engineers and scientists, creating a tension between the company's cutting-edge products and their leader's polarizing public image, a situation that caused concern among investors. Furthermore, the intense focus on his political activities and his role at Doge raised questions about his ability to dedicate sufficient attention to his complex business empire, especially as Tesla faced declining profits and sales in early 2025. The demands of running multiple groundbreaking companies are immense, and adding a high-profile, controversial government role to that workload was seen by some as unsustainable. The backlash served as a stark reminder that wielding political power, especially in such a public and disruptive manner, can have significant and often unpredictable consequences for one's reputation, business interests, and even personal well-being, forcing a re-evaluation of his commitments. Section 9. Navigating the Future, Balancing Business, Politics, and a Martian Dream. As of May 2025, Elon Musk finds himself at a pivotal juncture, navigating the complex interplay between his business empire, his political engagements, and his long-term, almost Ciceronic aspirations. In a notable announcement on May 20, 2025, during an interview at the Qatar Economic Forum, Musk stated his intention to cut back on his political spending. He declared, "I've done enough," suggesting a potential retreat from the high-stakes world of mega-donorship. This decision came amidst a backdrop of declining profits and sales at Tesla, indicating a renewed focus on the core operations of his diverse and demanding ventures. While he left the door open for future involvement if he saw a reason, the immediate signal was one of de-escalation. This planned reduction in political spending also extends to his involvement with the Department of Government Efficiency. Musk indicated he would cut back his role at Doge, aiming to dedicate more time and energy to his businesses. This shift is understandable given the challenges and opportunities facing his companies. Tesla is not only contending with increased competition in the electric vehicle market, but is also ambitiously developing a humanoid robot with the ultimate goal of sending it to Mars. SpaceX continues its relentless launch schedule and development of Starship, the vehicle designed to take humanity to the Red Planet. These colossal engineering challenges demand immense focus and resources. Beyond Tesla and SpaceX, Musk's other ventures continue to push technological boundaries. Neuralink, his brain-computer interface company, is planning to implant its experimental devices in more human subjects, pursuing breakthroughs in treating neurological disorders and potentially enhancing human capabilities. His AI venture, xAI, is developing the Grok chatbot, with deals reportedly in place to host its latest versions on Microsoft's data centers. These projects, each with world-altering potential, require substantial capital, brilliant minds, and unwavering leadership. The sheer breadth of these endeavors underscores the need for Musk to carefully allocate his time and energy, perhaps leading to his strategic pullback from the political front line. Looking ahead, even a reduced level of political spending from Musk is expected to continue shaping U.S. politics, particularly within the Republican Party, where his influence has become significant. His PACs may still play a role in primaries, potentially financing challengers to those not aligned with his or Trump's agenda. The trend of tech billionaires playing active roles in politics is likely to persist, with Musk having set a prominent, if sometimes contentious, example. His journey from tech titan to political powerhouse and now, perhaps to a more focused CEO again, illustrates the evolving role of wealth and influence in the 21st century, all while the dream of Mars remains a constant, guiding star for his ultimate ambitions.